go away. I'll relish any time you'll stay with me, my dear.
Jeff, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. Listen, I'm going to be in town in a day or two. I thought I might take you to dinner.
I would never turn down a meal.
I know that's for sure. Where do you want to go?
Let's go somewhere that has a lot of options. What about Luby's?
Luby's?
Luby's.
Jeff, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
I think Luby's is closing.
Luby's is closing?
Yeah.
Oh, Luby, for God's sake, don't leave my town.
Turn that radio dial.
What you talking about, Wood?
It's time for the most Gen X podcast there is.
Real tomato ketchup? Not even close, bud.
You found it.
Never been so happy in my whole life.
It's just Jeff and the dazzlingly uncool.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
And now, it's just Jeff.
So Luby's is closing.
Luby's is closing.
Now, is that? I hadn't heard this. I think Luby's isn't a Conroe, Texas thing. I mean, it's obviously
Luby's
a nation brand. So, literally, the Luby's franchise is closing.
That's right. Our childhood's dying.
Well,
how many times when our mom and dad would say, "Kids, load up in the family truckster, we're going to dinner," how many times did that include Luby's?
That depending on what mom was in the mood for.
Yeah.
If she was in the mood, let's name her meal.
Well, I can name her Luby's meal right now.
Yeah,
It was
You go first.
Liver and onions.
Carrot raisin salad.
It was a Luann platter, first of all.
Okay.
It was the Luann platter. I already mentioned liver and onions. You mentioned carrot raisin salad.
Yeah.
And I think it was spinach.
Interesting.
And I remember telling Mom one time as we went through that line, I was like, "Mom, your tray right now represents a kid's nightmare."
Horrible.
And she'll attest to that. She remembers that. She talks about the kid's nightmare, but I bet she made up for it by the time she got to the dessert.
Well, first of all, I know for a fact she had liver and onions and carrot raisin salad. And Mom, whatever your third side was, comment below and let everybody know, because I'm not sure if it was spinach or not, but we know the first two are correct.
What were you thinking it was? Like collard greens? It was something like that.
Aren't collard greens and spinach pretty much the same thing?
Maybe. I don't know. I think one grows in a ditch and one is cultivated.
Sounds kind of like you and me.
It's true.
It's true. So let me ask you. I want you to say, I'm going to ask you a one-word answer. Your word is either delicious or disgusting, okay?
Yeah.
Carrot raisin salad.
Delicious.
Delicious! Right?
I love it.
Would you have eaten it back then?
Heck yeah.
What? Say, hey guys, you want a salad? I guess. What's in it? Carrots? You're losing me. Help me out here. Raisins? Here you go.
I'd eaten it. I like it.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a child's nightmare.
Yeah, well,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, her plate.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So Luby's is leaving us.
Keep
My
going.
God.
Keep going. What's the next item you want me to rate?
Wait, she still had. I was liver and onions.
Dear God, no.
No.
Good for the hemoglobin. But terrible on the palate.
I was raised in a ditch. I thought a palate was something you painted with.
A couple of times we had liver, like Mom would make liver at home, or we would have liverwurst sandwiches, and it was liver, and it's good for you. I mean, it's very rich. It's very high in iron. It's good for the blood, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought one time when I ordered liver, I thought the chef was like, "Get out," but he was like, "Get out." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And chicken livers. You remember sometimes she'd get chicken livers from
She
like
loved
Hearts or churches or someplace. She
Mom
liked
was
liver,
the
which is good, you know.
She was gizzards, wasn't it? Chicken gizzards?
Sometimes she'd get gizzards. Yeah. Things that you would never even consider eating now.
No.
But these were just things that were popular back then, kind of like quinoa is now, you know. I mean, she probably wouldn't have had quinoa or kale. She'd be like, kale? That's a garnish. Throw that away.
It grew next to me in the ditch.
That's right.
Kale is disgusting.
I mean, if you bake it and put some garlic on it and salt, I mean, anything will taste good that way. But yeah, kale's a superfood now. And when I was working in the food industry, that was a garnish.
It was a garnish.
It was like the cheapest greenery you could buy that would be edible if somebody was stupid enough to try. You wouldn't poison anybody, right? It's like parsley and kale. Nobody ate it.
Nobody ate it.
No.
You know how when you're working at a company and you have like a big company Thanksgiving party, right? Everyone brings a dish.
Sure.
So this one guy brought kale salad. I mean, I guess it was like carrot raisin salad with kale.
It has craisins in it and stuff like that.
It was a beautiful dish. Beautiful dish. And I tasted it, and literally it tasted like dirt. And that is not an exaggeration. It tasted like I took a bite of dirt. And I thought, God, that is the worst. I've always heard.
And just so everybody knows, Jeff has actually in the past taken a bite of dirt.
So you
knew what to compare it to.
I definitely knew what to compare it to.
Yeah.
Actually, everyone has tasted dirt. They know if I gave you something that tastes like dirt, you'd be like, does that taste like dirt? You know. So
many people would say that beets taste like dirt.
No, they're peeled.
But many people would say that they don't like beets because they feel like they're just eating dirt.
I guess.
I like beets.
I love beets.
I like dirt.
Dirt. So I asked the guy about it, hey, did you try that salad? And I said, yeah. I didn't tell him I didn't like it. But he said, yeah, it came out of my garden. And then I was like, did you wash the shit? Maybe that's why it tasted like dirt. I didn't ask him, and I didn't eat it. It's kind of, I'm full, I can't finish that. But then I've tried kale since, and no, it wasn't dirty kale that I tasted. It was just disgusting greenery.
Well, they didn't have kale at Luby's for sure,
No.
But what they did have, which I loved, was egg custard pie.
I loved an egg custard cup.
When's the last time you saw egg custard anywhere?
You can't. You have to make it if you want it.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think you're going to find it on the menu at any restaurant these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved that egg custard pie, and I think probably Mom topped off her liver and onions Luann platter with an egg custard pie. If I had to bet, I would say that. And to me, total redemption there.
Oh yeah, total redemption.
But Luby's was classic. What did you always have at Luby's?
Well, I'm not sure, but there's one item at Luby's that, I really think that I could define friendships with people based on a certain food, and that's meringue. I don't get it. I don't like it. And when people, it's like, lemon meringue. I'm like, you're getting like a sliver of lemon and a mountain of meringue. You want to taste this shit? No, I don't want to taste it.
In history.
And then you look over, they push the meringue off, and they're eating like, why didn't you just get key lime pie?
Yeah.
But who likes meringue? You know what meringue is? It's whipped egg whites.
It's air.
And
basically.
Sugar. Yeah.
It's air.
It's fluff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fluff. You're going for the lemon, not the meringue. The meringue is it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of a nuance added to the lemon, but if you, like you said, if you scrape the meringue off and ate the lemon, you're still happy. The lemon and the crust, it's a good pie.
So to me, meringue is just like you said. It's parsley. It's just
kale,
decorative.
It's parsley, right? Yeah.
But people eat it.
So when I would go to Luby's, I always got the little fried fish.
Oh yeah, the square.
It was like a rectangular fried fish.
A rectangular, yeah.
Yeah.
If you got the Luann platter, or if you got the Luann platter, it was square. Yeah.
Half of it. That's right. Half the rectangle.
Yeah.
But by the time we were a little older, I was getting the full rectangle of that fried fish.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Delicious. And I'd maybe get some fried okra with it.
Yep. You were
Mashed
always a fried
potatoes.
okra kind of guy.
I liked fried okra, yeah. Anything that I could have that was a vehicle for ketchup, I was in.
Anything you want to put ketchup on, Tommy.
Anything, Tommy. Yeah, like, to me, French fries, that was just a way to get ketchup to my mouth.
I like where you're going there because I've never thought about it, but I put ketchup on everything. I do
like
the same
ketchup.
thing. And now that I think about it, there are certain foods that are vehicles for ketchup.
Yeah.
So
I'd say fried okra is right in there.
you ever put it on your mac and cheese?
Boy ain't right.
No. But
Okay.
if it bled over onto the mac and cheese, I'm eating it and I bet it tastes great.
There are times where, you have some French fries and, hamburgers, some mac and cheese, you got your ketchup right there in the plate.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get your bite of mac and cheese. Oh, a little spasm. Oh, man, I got ketchup on it.
Oopsie.
Yeah, right? It's like, hey, Jeff, is
Delicious.
that ketchup? Did you just eat that with ketchup? Yeah, I didn't mean to. I just accidentally
You got
it
your
on it.
ketchup in my
Yeah,
mac and cheese. You got your
exactly.
mac and cheese and my ketchup. Two great tastes that taste great together.
It doesn't. I've now since gotten, if I'm eating it at home or whatnot, I just put it straight on. I don't even
Just
mess
throw
with
it
trying
on.
to pretend. Yeah,
Cut out the
I do
middleman.
like ketchup.
Now, back in around 1985, that's how I discovered ranch on pizza.
Ranch on anything, but yes,
Oh my
ranch
God.
on pizza.
So we
yeah.
would go to this place. We were in college, and we would go to this place where you could use your campus, like your cafeteria, badge, to go to this place called It's a Pizza. And you basically got a plate, and whatever you could fit on that plate, you were getting. So you'd put some salad on there just because you felt like you should, and you'd douse it in ranch, and then you'd throw as many pieces of pizza on there as you could, right? And you'd take that off and eat. And, inevitably, some of the ranch gets on the pizza, and you're like, wait a minute.
This just changed my life.
This changed my life. Now, I almost, I would say 80% of the time that I eat pizza, I'm dipping it in ranch.
I get upset when people throw away the crust. I'm like, give me the crust. It's ranch.
Well, do you
dip it in
remember-
ranch.
We used to go to, when we worked at Conroe Furniture, which I think we've talked about before, we used to go to the Mr. Gaddy's all-you-could-eat lunch buffet.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we might be the reason... we might be the reason they're out of business now. We talked about Luby's being out of business. I don't know that there are too many Mr. Gaddy's around, and we may be responsible for that because
There's a good
we would
chance.
go... Each of us would eat easily 25 to 30 pieces of pizza.
Yeah.
But in that case, we would not eat the crust
Yeah.
because we felt like we weren't getting the maximum out of our dollar spent. So we would have, a thing in the middle of our table with probably 10 pounds of pizza crust.
Yeah.
But man, we were just stuffed to the gills. And the manager's back there going, I think our days are numbered here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, a guy used to go to pizza buffets when he would say, I don't eat the bones. And
The
I'm like,
bones.
it kind of makes
But
sense.
yeah, you're
'cause,
right. Now the crust, it's like, dude, that's delish.
I mean, Pizza Hut's like, let's stuff it with cheese. We got to get people to eat the crust.
That's right. How can we make them eat the crust? Stuff it with cheese. Put Parmesan on it.
Yeah, man, it's just an ad now. It's
Thin crust. Do thin crust.
all crust.
You can
It's
charge
all
more.
crust.
It's all pizza. So we've mentioned two places that we used to like to frequent, Luby's and Mr. Gaddy's. What are some other places that we used to go to that no longer exist?
Tejas?
Well, Tejas was a local favorite in Conroe,
Oh.
Texas. It was kind of your it was a local Tex-Mex kind of restaurant, and you know what? I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought up Tejas. It was kind of Tex-Mex. It was
had
more
a
like
huge
American
menu.
Americano. They had hamburgers and stuff,
Yeah.
but they had Tex-Mex, and that was the first place that I can remember eating this, which is now you can't imagine a world without this. But this is the first place that I remember that had this particular dish.
Can I
You
answer
finish it for me, yeah.
Fajitas.
fajitas.
Yeah.
Like, people today, like, can't imagine a world without fajitas, but fajitas did not always exist.
No.
And at Tejas, they would come out on a very, a very kind of humble sort of plate, plated up with 2 flour tortillas. We didn't have any sizzle, and the waiter carrying it out with this, this smoke coming off that was filling the whole restaurant. Once that came into play, that was a game changer. It was like, if you didn't order fajitas when you went to a place that had fajitas, you might as well just, turn in your cool card right there, because that was the bomb.
Looking back, what you got at Tejas wasn't fajitas. It was tacos al carbon.
It was tacos al carbon. It was tacos with some fajita meat in it. You're right. And Ninfa's was the first place that we ever went. I remember Dad wanted to go to Ninfa's because they had that tacos al carbon that didn't have taco meat in it, ground beef. It had like steak. Beef. Yeah. And I remember like eating it for the first time going, I got to chew this for too long. Give me some of that taco meat again.
Give me the taco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're talking about nationwide. So here's the thing. We're going to talk about nationwide chains that I don't know exist anymore because they no longer exist in Conroe, but they may still exist regionally. So if I say, well, what about this? Some of the listeners might be like, well, I went there the other day.
Yes. You'll be forgiven.
So you just said that, Tejas is a local establishment, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it definitely wasn't a chain. So you're asking about like Luby's chains that no longer exist, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm thinking there's a lot of chains that probably still exist, but I don't know where, but maybe used to be here. And one that I'm thinking of particularly, you mentioned, you kind of introduced us to fajitas, and you introduced me to something else called a chimichanga. And you got it at a place called Del Taco. You loved Del Taco. And I'm pretty sure that still exists, but not here.
We still have them in Utah, but, I mean, they're not the same. And, yeah, my buddy Brad and I, who we've talked about before as being a little bit of a lead foot on the in his little 260Z, he loved to go to Del Taco and get the combo cup, which was basically like a little dish with like rice and beans and cheese and stuff, And I would always get the chimichanga, man. Those were fantastic.
So it does still exist, right?
It still exists, but it's not the same as you remember. Yeah.
Well, I don't think anything is the same that we remember growing up.
Nah.
I mean, even McDonald's fries were. We don't remember them being. They were cooked in real fat.
Lard.
We don't remember.
They were cooked in lard. Yeah.
Right. So if you
do you remember a place called Grandy's?
Oh, hell yes.
Right, Grandy's was supposed to be like, this was like your fast food, but it's home cooked, right, by little grandma.
Yeah,
and that's like where that was the logo. And you could go there and get basically like a chicken fried steak like you'd get in the high school cafeteria.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And some mashed potatoes and green beans, and you were eating right. You always felt like you were being a responsible young adult when you went to Grandy's.
They used to have an all-you-can-eat.
Did they? I don't remember that.
Yeah, and it wasn't it wasn't like a buffet style. You could go in and all you can eat, and it might be like certain menu items, but you just go back and say, I need another chicken fried steak. And you're thinking, I'm gonna win this battle, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
Only ate 2 chicken fried steaks when all was said and done.
But you felt good about it. You know how you would have eaten more?
Now?
If you didn't have to go back up to the counter and all you had to do was raise a little flag and they'd bring more stuff out to you.
Ponchos. Yeah.
Ponchos, man. There's probably a Ponchos that still exists somewhere, but
I've got to go look. I wonder, I haven't looked in years. I wouldn't be surprised if we still have it over there by Oak Ridge.
Maybe.
Remember?
That place was the best. I mean, you'd go up there, load your plate just so full of flautas and chimichangas and whatever else, and go out there and raise that flag. I want some more.
La
And then
cucaracha.
the main reason for raising the flag was what?
That was for the sopapilla.
Bring me some sopapillas. I haven't eaten enough. I need something, I need some bread covered with honey and powdered sugar just to top this off.
A soap on a ropapilla. They were delightful.
Don't drop the sopapilla.
No, don't drop the sopapilla. You can make a little honey in that hole. So listen to this. Before we get off of Grandy's.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about how delicious their food was. Yeah, like you said, it was like country style. It was really good. The potatoes were good, the gravy was good, but there was one thing that you could get there before this Uber chain existed in airports and whatnot called Cinnabon. Do you remember at Grandy's they had something called cinnamon rolls that started with an S, cinnamon rolls?
Yes.
And Mom would send us there like on holidays, and you could get them in like a 6-pack. They were frozen.
Yes.
And the icing on the top was almost a butter color because it was like a butter icing. Oh my God.
So good.
I mean,
we just dated ourselves. Because we're like saying, it's kind of like Cinnabon, but I mean, I don't. There's probably hardly any Cinnabons around anymore. It'd be like us saying, like, it's like TCBYs. They're everywhere.
Wait, Cinnabons aren't everywhere anymore?
I don't know. You might find a Cinnabon every once in a while, but you remember they used to be in every airport, like you said, every mall. Kind of like TCBY was in every strip mall.
Every strip mall.
Every strip mall.
And then once they came out, it was like, I can't believe it's not yogurt came out.
Right.
And, it's funny how gimmick restaurants like that, and I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but movies are kind of the same thing. You have Dante's Peak and Volcano come out at the same time. You have Armageddon and Deep Impact come out at the same time.
Yeah.
You have TCBY, you're thinking that no one's ever going to compete with. What the hell? I can't believe it's not yogurt.
There you go.
And they came around quickly enough to where it wasn't a copycat. I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works either.
There's a buddy of mine right now that one of my catchphrases these days is "I don't know," and it's not even an "I don't know." So it's kind of there's a little inside joke to a list. I don't know. Do you know?
That's just so inside. You lost me.
You said it a minute ago.
I just tuned out. I hope the rest of our listeners didn't tune out.
Hey, now wait a minute.
Huh?
I only said it because you said it.
I don't know?
I don't know. Anyway, so you got Grandy's. You've got... go ahead.
I was going to say there's one place that was like the pièce de résistance. If you wanted to impress, where did you go? If you wanted to, let's say we had a date, prom, homecoming, whatever, you wanted to let them know, I'm a playa.
You could eat the first word, but you weren't old enough to drink the second word. Am I right?
That's right.
Steak and ale. They, my friend, were the innovators of the salad bar.
Oh, heavens,
they were the first ones that had the best salad bar that was like, I'm looking forward to my salad prior to my rye bread and meat.
Right.
They had a great salad bar, but you remember the little rye bread I'm talking about? It was like a little, it was a brown bread.
Yeah, it wasn't rye. It was brown bread.
It wasn't rye. It was a brown bread.
Yeah. I totally remember that.
Steak and ale.
When your parents would take you there, you felt a little guilty. It's like, I guess I'm going to get the Malibu chicken, which I kind of liked the best anyway.
The Malibu chicken was the best, yeah.
It was awesome, but it was the cheapest thing on the menu.
Yeah.
But then, like, you'd take a date there, and you're like, God, I hope she gets the Malibu chicken.
Hope she gets the Malibu chicken.
You're talking it up the whole drive there. This place is great. Salad bar, this chicken that's got like a pineapple slice on it. You wouldn't believe it.
Now, the funny thing is,
I want the filet. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to mow 3 more lawns this week.
I know, right? Now, the funny thing is, the listeners are hearing us try to sell someone on the Monterey chicken or the Malibu chicken. Yeah, we haven't divulged, I believe. The name of this place was Steak and Ale.
Right.
You're trying to convince your date to get the chicken at a place called Steak and Ale. you go there, and they're like, I'll take the filet. And for you, sir,
no.
I'll do the salad bar. All you can eat? No. One trip. And the one trip was a little bowl, right? Remember, you'd go up to the salad bar, and the plates, it was the first time I saw plates that were like that little hydraulic little lift.
Cold
and
plates.
They were cold. Oh, man.
You're like, this is class.
This is class.
This is like how Mr. Drummond lives.
What you talking about, Mr. D?
Mr. Drummond.
When he goes to a restaurant, he has cold plates.
Yeah. You can almost see him like going into Steak and Ale and them saying, Mr. Drummond, right this way. Hey, that son of a bitch didn't have a reservation. Some people don't need them. Damn it.
The world don't move to the beat of just one drum, son.
What?
You wait your turn.
You wait your turn, young man. Oh, brother. Steak and Ale. That was high dollar.
That was great. But, I bet if you went to Steak and Ale today, if you could, take a time machine back and go get the finest meal at Steak and Ale, you'd be probably like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Things have just evolved. Yeah.
You're never going to get a bad meal, but you're going to get,
But you'd also probably love it if you really could get in a time machine and you went back and totally splurge, everybody get whatever you want. The bill comes out, it's $22.50.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You go with your entire family and my family, and it's $100 for 10 meals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But one thing I remember about Steak and Ale is it's like they couldn't afford more than a 10-watt light bulb. It's so dark in there.
They were trying to make you feel like you were living in war era England.
Right?
It's like, we got to keep the lights dim because the Blitz is coming.
The Blitzkrieg is coming. Should we make it look like a bunch of wood? Go for the chalet.
The outdoor is kind of a Tudor-styled mansion.
Kind of a Bavarian look. I don't know. Yeah, it's Steak and Ale, man. That's a good restaurant.
And then, do you remember a place called, now this, to me, this was like Steak and Ale plus, and it was only if we went on vacation. I think I remember going there in San Antonio, and so I guess if you lived in San Antonio, this was always there, but the Magic Time Machine.
That was a theme restaurant, wasn't it?
It was, all the waiters and waitresses dressed up in costumes.
And as actors and actresses, or?
Well, they would dress up as, historical figures, maybe characters from movies, or,
maybe an outlaw or a cowboy.
Yeah, something like that. The thing I remember, though, is their salad bar was like an MG Roadster that was, hollowed out that had a salad bar in it.
Really?
That was, the epitome of cool to me. I'm like, forget Mr. Drummond. This is Ricky Schroeder's dad. This is Silver Spoon.
Oh, yeah, right. That's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, I have arrived.
Yeah, I could see who was I can't remember his assistant. He'd be like, Mr. Stratton, should I pull the limo around for a Steak and Ale? No, I'm going to take this train in my house to the time machine.
That's right.
And Ricky Schroeder's like, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Aaron Gray's like, I'm going to have the filet. Twiggy's like, DB. I'm freezing my ball bearings off, Buck.
I imagine Mr. Stratton was like, Aaron, you get whatever you want.
We took a lot of steps there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Aaron Gray, Buck Rogers, 25th Century.
Could have gone back to Six Pack.
And Silver Spoon and Six Pack. Yeah.
Aaron Gray.
It's time for closing thoughts with Jeff. And now, here's Jeff.
Growing up, we didn't look for words like organic or fat-free, and I don't remember anyone calorie counting like they do today. Heck, even fast food restaurants are required to put nutritional facts such as calories on their menu. And because of this, many establishments that have survived the health kick revolution have rebranded in order to take out any negative words, like KFC. But one restaurant that has stood the test and remains strong is Long John Silver's. It actually surprises me they haven't changed their name. and might I suggest, Los Pescado Hermanos. I'm not trying to say it's a restaurant acting as a front for Walter White and a drug kingpin to launder their meth money, but would it really be that far-fetched? Imagine Big Pharma using it as a way to keep the need for cholesterol medicine through the sale of extra greasy fried fish and chips. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, rather just a lowly podcast superstar who is paid to provide humorous observations about everyday life. Until next time, I'm not paid, and humor might be a reach.
Thank you for listening to the Just Jeff and the Dazzlingly Uncool podcast. Check back every Thursday for new episodes. If there's a topic you think we should discuss on the podcast, leave us a comment or a message and we'll do our best to get to it. Check us out on Facebook and join our group called Growing Up 70s and 80s Texas Style. Didn't grow up in the 70s or the 80s? No problem. Didn't grow up in Texas? No problem. We still want you in the group and as part of the discussion. Hey, do you think you yourself may be dazzlingly uncool? Well, if you found your way to our podcast, chances are pretty good, or at least that you will be one day. Wear that title with pride. To find out more, check out www.rockysealmusic.com.
Good Lord.